Hi, my name is Amy Schaus, and I'm the Dean of the College of Arts, Letters, and Sciences at Southwest Minnesota State University. I want to take this chance to welcome you to SMSU and welcome you to the Creating Spaces Writing Contest Award Ceremony. Congratulations on all of you who have won. I wanted to just say a few words about this award and let you recognize that the ability to write and share ideas and share your thoughts really is a powerful skill that you have. You can allow people to experience things and think about things in ways that they wouldn't necessarily think about it from their own experiences. So that's a pretty powerful skill that you have. So congratulations on that. I'd also add that it's not something that will just help you in school. It will help you in school, but it won't just help you in school. I think this is a skill that will carry you and benefit you really the rest of your lives. So again, welcome to Southwest Minnesota State and congratulations again. I hope you have a great day. Thanks.
Hello, winners of the 17th Annual Creating Spaces Writing Contest. And hello to the families and friends watching. I'm Judy Wilson, Director of the Creative Writing Program here at Southwest Minnesota State University. This is usually a moment that we find us celebrating together in our university ballroom, followed by a reception and sort of a meet and greet. Well, we're not going to focus on how bummed out we are that we can't gather together in our Sunday best and feel the thrill of the applause of happy parents when they see their young writers making their trek to the front of that expansive room to receive their awards. Nope, we're not. We're going to follow the cue of the returning geese on whose wings spring whispers into being. We choose to think of crocus soon to bloom and soon to be delivered farm kittens and the quiet of a fishing line waiting, ready for the pull that brings excitement. That's us in this moment, soon to bloom, soon to be delivered, ready for that pull that brings excitement. But isn't it the geese that brings it all back every year anyway? That's what I think every spring when I see them or hear them really on their return flight in. Spring in Minnesota is usually a busy time for most. It's no different here on the campus of SMSU, where we're full speed ahead toward the end of a semester with graduation ceremonies right around the corner. But no matter how busy I get this time of year, I always look forward to being involved with the Creating Spaces contest and to celebrating the writing talent of young people in our region. It's true that writing is a talent, but as most talents go, it takes time, effort, and perseverance to nurture it to its full potential. It's wonderful to realize that so many young people in our state are already honing their writing skills and are developing the discipline to work toward perfecting that talent. It's also good to know that so many family members, friends, and teachers are out there in support of the talents of these young people. This is the 17th year of the contest, and it has remained a competitive force in the region. If you're watching today and receiving an award, you should know that you truly earned it. I'd like to provide a bit of history on creating spaces. The creative writing program here at SMSU worked in partnership with Southwest West Central Service Cooperative to design and conduct the first annual creative writing contest the spring of 2005. The contest was established to encourage a love of language and writing among the region's young people. We wanted to recognize gifted young writers in this area of Minnesota. That first contest unearthed a wealth of talent and demonstrated the desire of our young people to tell their stories and express their imaginations through writing. The endeavor was so successful that SMSU and SWWC Service Cooperative have continued the contest on an annual basis. We're proud to note that indeed we are in our 17th year. Students in grades 3 through 12 attending public, private, or homeschools enter the contest either through a classroom assignment or on their own. The categories for submission are fiction, nonfiction, and poetry. The students are allowed to enter in more than one category. SMSU creative writing students serve as the preliminary judges for the contest. The finalists are then submitted to the faculty judges, professors in our SMSU English program. Prizes are awarded for the top 3 winners in each category and grade group. The most coveted prize for the contest is one of the $2,000 SMSU first-year tuition scholarships awarded to the 3 first-place winners in the 11th, 12th grade categories. As part of your winnings, you'll each be receiving one of the Creating Spaces anthologies in which the winning pieces from every category and grade group are published. I've had the privilege of reading every single winning piece, and so I know how deserving you all really are. Now I'd like to take a minute to acknowledge those working to coordinate the 17th Annual Creating Spaces Writing Contest. Thank you to the staff at SWWC Service Cooperative, who do a wonderful job promoting the contest and gathering the submissions. It's an enormous yearly task. It's Andrea Anderson, the Student Activities Coordinator, Lori Fales, the Office Assistant, Carrie Yerde, Teaching and Learning Program Manager, Lisa Gregoire, Director of Teaching and Learning, and Cliff Carmody, the Executive Director. Thanks go to the SMSU Creative Writing Program students who made time in their busy academic lives to serve as preliminary judges. They were Alan Davis, Abigail First, Zachary Haberman, and Madison Levy. From the SMSU English program staff and faculty, Leanne Tegg, our administrative assistant, offered much valuable help. I coordinated the student and faculty judging, as well as the Creating Spaces anthology production. And the faculty who served as final judges were Professor Steve Pacheco, poetry judge, Dr. Anthony Neal Smith, fiction judge, and then I served as the nonfiction judge. We thank Marcy Olson, the Assistant Director of Communications and Marketing here at SMSU, for her creative assistance with the cover design. And we thank SMSU alumna, Serena Martinez, for the use of her digital photograph for the cover. Finally, and most importantly, we thank all the parents, teachers, friends, and relatives who encourage children to read, write, and submit their best work to the Creating Spaces Writing Contest each year. We owe you our most heartfelt thanks. Those of you who haven't aged out of the contest, I hope you will submit again next year. Maybe try your hand at something new. Tell a new story. Write a new poem. We'll be here, waiting to read it all. Congratulations.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shannon Gibney, and I am a local writer here in the Twin Cities. I write all kinds of things, from children's picture books to YA novels to memoir and creative nonfiction, all kinds of stuff. And I was lucky enough to be invited to talk to you all for the keynote for the Creating Spaces conference this year. So I'm thrilled. I've prepared hopefully what's a fun and fast moving and suitably brief presentation about some of the lessons that I've learned along the way about writing. So let's get started. Okay. And hopefully all my screen tech will work well here. Okay. So my presentation is called So You Want to Be a Writer? Well, guess what? This girl that you're looking at here did too. And you'll never guess who this is. Yes, that's me, Shannon Gibney, the budding young writer, around 1982. So I was in about second grade when this photo was taken. And, note my hair. My mom, this is not one of her favorite pictures of me because you will see here that I fixed my hair before before the photographer took the picture. My mom had it nicely pulled back into barrettes and everything, and then I did it my way. And so this is how it came out. But I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I was like a child of the 80s, and then in the 90s I was in high school and college. And so I was just like this voracious reader. I was reading all the time, just like I hope most of you all are. And basically, I started writing stories as soon as I could read. And so, of course, I would write stories about things that happened to me, things that were familiar to me. So my family, we always went on camping trips. So I would make these little construction paper books with illustrations, right, about some of the adventures my brothers and I went on camping trips. And you'd be happy to learn too that my first book was published around this time. In first grade, I wrote an award-winning book. It won the competition in my grade in the school about strawberry shortcake. And so that was very exciting for me. I don't know if anybody has read this book or is familiar with it. This is The Phantom Tollbooth by Norman Juster, and it's been around for many years now, actually. But I loved this book when I was in fourth grade. I just kind of devoured it. I just kind of wanted to give you all an example of some of the books that I enjoyed growing up. And this is just from the book jacket, like what it's about, illustrated in black and white. This ingenious fantasy centers around Milo, a bored 10-year-old who comes home to find a large toy toll booth sitting in his room. Joining forces with a watchdog named Talk, Milo drives through the toll booth's gates and begins a memorable journey. He meets such characters as the foolish yet lovable humbug, the math magician, and the not-so-wicked witch, faintly macabre, who gives Milo the impossible mission of returning two princesses to the kingdom of wisdom. And one of the things that I loved about this book is its use of puns and language. It was just like really fun to read. And of course, the fantasy elements. I don't know if there's anybody watching who also enjoys the fantasy elements in books, but I certainly did as a child. And the thing about reading is the more that you do it, the more that you learn about stories, like what makes up stories, what makes stories good, what makes stories maybe not so interesting, what makes you want to turn a page, what makes you want to put a book down. And this is another collection, this is another set of books that I loved reading as a child. The Beverly Cleary's books about Ramona Quimbley. And she was like this 8-year-old girl who just was constantly getting into scrapes and things that she should not get into, and kind of like driving her big sister nuts. I don't know if anybody there can relate to that, or anybody here can relate to that. But the books were like really relatable to me. And Beverly Cleary, who's the author, she actually just passed away. But she has other books, like one called Ralph F's Mouse, about this like tiny little mouse who drives around in his car, and also gets into scrapes and stuff. So I really loved a lot of her books as a child. And of course, the stories that you love influence then what you want to write. And this was just, again, as I said, Beverly Cleary unfortunately just passed away, although she had a very long and productive, vibrant life. She passed away at the age of 104, which may we all have such longevity. But this is, sort of a representative passage from one of the Ramona books, Ramona the Pest. She was not a slowpoke grown-up. She was a girl who could not wait. Life was so interesting, she had to find out what happened next. And so you can really see there sort of the essence of the character, Ramona, that Beverly Cleary is building for us, right? And so just here on the other side of the screen, I have characters in conflict. Those are really big elements of any good stories, right? Plot, right? What happens, dialogue, people talking to each other, characters talking to each other, themes and ideas, right? Like, what is the bigger meaning that we're taking from whatever it is we're reading and writing? And then, of course, setting also tells us a lot about what we can take from the story as well. So as I was putting this together the other night, my two children, that's Marwen on the right, we call her Maui for short, and Boise's on the left there. They had thoughts that they wanted to contribute. They're both readers and writers. Maui is 6 and Boise is 11. So I have short little videos from each of them, also because I know that a lot of times, kids, it's like you all really like to hear from your own people, right? So here's Boise's thoughts on reading and its relationship to writing. And I love his face right here.
So Boise, my 11-year-old son, what would you say about me? You read a lot, right? What do you like to read?
Well, when you first start to read, it's good to start out just like on the graphic novels. Get into reading. And then, once you're past with graphic novels, start reading those short chapter books. And then when you feel ready, venture on to the long books.
To the long books? What kind of long
Wings of
books?
Fire.
Okay.
What's the book? Harry Potter. Of course you guys know Harry Potter. Yeah, books like that.
Okay.
So, what you really need to do is just find a book that you love.
Okay.
Go with it. Then if there's maybe a series, you read the next one and you still like it, keep on going. Because books can also give you ideas for what you want to write.
Has that happened for you?
Yes, kind of. Because, and also using your imagination. Say you read a book and then you pretend to play out a character from that book. Well, what if you just made some little changes to the character and made it like your own character? Maybe modified it to something else, but maybe still have the traits. Like you follow the story, but you change some paths. So say like these characters manage to escape in the book, but these characters are get locked, try to escape, but they fail.
Right. Well, also like the elements of story that you were saying, for you read all your Marvel stuff, right? And so you learn about sort of like, okay, these are the bad guys, and this is sort of like
their motive.
Yeah, how they interact with the good guys, and that creates conflict, which moves the story forward and whatnot.
So those are Boise's excellent thoughts on what you can learn about writing from reading. So the second lesson that I want to impart to you all that I've learned in all my years writing is that anyone can be a writer because we all have stories to tell. And so my daughter Maui is going to talk about that. She's going to discuss how she approaches writing as a beginning reader.
So, well, I'm 6 and I'm still learning how to read, but I can still write a little. See, and I just want to show you about my book. I know some words, but I don't know all. But it's still amazing.
And so, what do you like about when you're, because you make books even though you're still learning how to write and read. So what do you do? What do you like about making books? How do you do it?
Well, I just find a piece of paper, get some tape, and get some markers and start writing stuff in it. Start writing, I can see your stuff, and I can see everyone, and I can see you. And I start writing, and I can see you, and stuff like that. The words I know from doing my sight words, and I start writing those in my books. And my sight words, those are from school, and that's why I love to write. And sometimes I'm still learning how to write some, but I'm sure I'll remember. Just like go, we, see, and A.
And also you are an artist, so a lot of your stories you tell through your pictures, right?
Yes, a lot of my stories, you can make any kind of stories you want. You can make stories if you don't know how to color or make words yet. Your art is a story, whatever it is. Even if it doesn't have words, it's still a story.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Okay, so here's my next lesson. So lesson number 3, start where you are, even if you'd rather not. So I went and dug up some rather embarrassing pieces of writing that I put together as a teenager, because I understand that we do have some teens in the audience, right? And so my high school, when I was in 10th grade, the person who they ran a literary magazine, and the teacher who ran the literary magazine, who's wonderful, asked me to contribute something. And so I contributed this poem of, questionable quality to the literary journal, and it was about my older brother. It's called Who Ate Everything. He would eat everything. I saw him do it once. Potatoes, ham, peas, corn, gravy, pie, ice cream. I saw him eat them all. He would have eaten my scissors if I hadn't stopped him. That is because he only listened to his stomach, not his brain. Once I heard his stomach tell him, "Hey kid, go eat that watermelon over there. The whole thing all at once. It's better that way." He would have too if his mouth was big enough. We used to wonder how he was so thin since he ate all the time. Then we looked at his height and realized that he must have been born in such a way that he grew upwards, not outwards, and that he let his stomach tell him what to do, not his head. So in hopes of changing this, we made him stand on his head so that all the blood would rush to his brain, not his stomach. This worked. Now the boy's head is twice the normal size, not his stomach. Yeah, I don't think my older brother was that fond of this poem, but there you have it. Here's my 4th lesson about writing and what I've learned about it. Take every opportunity that comes your way. So this is an essay that I wrote in my junior year of high school, and it was about Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn. And so I wrote it for the class, American literature, did well on it. And then there was this, back then it was called AXO, but it was a NAACP literary competition. And so I submitted it to that and I won, actually. And so I won like the regional competition. And then I got to go to, I think the national competition, which was in Nashville that year. And they paid for everything. I met like all these incredible kids. And it was like a blast. And I got 3rd place in the national competition, which I was not anticipating. And so then after that, of course, I heard from my friends who were younger at my high school that every year when my teacher assigned a paper on Huckleberry Finn, she would tell people, and you might write an award-winning paper and win $500 like Shannon Gibney. So that's funny. Moving right along here. Lesson number 5. Draft, draft, draft again. What do I mean by drafting? I mean, you're going to have multiple drafts of whatever it is you write if you want it to be any good. I mean, rarely have I written anything that just sort of like comes out done. Once in a great while, it's like this magic thing that happens that I kind of don't have any control over and I can't predict. Most of the time, what you see here on the screen with all these, notes and things circled and crossed out and written around, this is a poem I wrote in college, so like 20 years ago. Yeah, and it's also not very good, but that's okay because I'm drafting it. You see all the notes that I have there to kind of hopefully make it better. And along with that, you just have to consider that things are never really done when you're a writer. Okay, you're constantly reworking and tinkering, trying to get to the feeling behind the words. And to do that, I mean, you're willing to make a mess. To get to something true about life and being a human being here and now, you're gonna probably have to make a mess. So this is another piece of writing that I found in my old journals from high school. And so you can see, all the different places that I wrote around it. And it looks like I have like notes about a trip to Cedar Rapids and how much it might cost and all kinds of stuff up there too. So I used it for not just my poem, right? But right. So the point is the drafting here, right? Okay. So lesson number 6. That's where we are. Lesson number 6 is writing helps you think critically. So when I am reading, I still do this actually. I will take notes, especially if it's something that I'm really taken with, that I'm really like engaged with. I will write down quotes from what I'm reading. And so again, digging in my own old journals, I found this journal from when I was 20 and reading Ralph Ellison's The Invisible Man, which is an amazing novel. If you're in high school and haven't read it, definitely check it out. It's a classic. And so you see here, I have all these quotes that I've written down. And at the very top, I have written in block letters, I want to talk to Ralph Ellison, which was impossible because he had already passed by then. And then beside it, but I don't know his views on women, right? Like it's this really interesting racial text about race in America, particularly around Blackness and Black men. But I wanted to find out more about some of his thoughts on Black women. But so I wrote all that down. That's my point. You might want to keep a journal, keep a notebook of story ideas and characters. I know people that like carry around a small little notebook to literally jot things down because you never know when something's going to come to you. Nobody likes to borrow books from me because I write in the margins of my books with thoughts, discussion, and questions and analysis. Because again, writing helps you think critically and work through ideas. Okay, so here's lesson number 7. Don't be afraid to try something new. And here we're going to take a little diversion. I'm actually going to show you and read to you my first children's picture book, which will be published by University of Minnesota Press in spring 2022. This was my first attempt at a children's picture book, and I'm coming at it from being a novelist. And so that was very hard. I knew I wanted to write this. It's this, you'll see a second, but it's this story about this 6-year-old Black kid. And every night there's this tension around what kind of food they're going to eat at their house. Is it going to be Liberian food or American food? Because his dad is Liberian and his mom is African American. And that's the situation of my kids. And I didn't see any books out there, that really dealt with that in a meaningful way. So I wrote this, and I just am going to show you some of the sketches from the initial sketches that the artist Charlie Palmer, who's a wonderful artist. So these are just sketches. Okay, this is not what it's going to look like, but I just wanted to just share at least a little bit with you of my writing and process. But the point is, I had to go through like many drafts of this, and I had to cut like a lot of stuff, and it was a laborious process. It was a difficult process. I didn't know what I was doing, but I wanted to try something new, and it worked out. So this is called Sam and the Incredible African and American Food Fight. On Monday, Sam was hungry. He'd run at recess and subtracted in math. He'd even argued with Hector in English and Spanish. But when he walked into the kitchen after school, the incredible African and American food fight was raging again. At one counter, Auntie Nordbo cut up hot pepper and cassava leaf for Liberian tobogi soup. At the other, Mom mixed flour, sugar, yeast, and salt for homemade pizza crust. Mom was African American from Minnesota. Dad and Auntie were African from Liberia. And everyone wanted to eat their own kind of food every day and every night. Everyone except Sam and his younger sister, Kona, who were half and half, stuck in between. Come and take the soup now, said Auntie, serving Sam a bowl when it was done. The sweet smell of palm oil made his stomach say, "Rawr, let's eat now." But as Sam dug in, Mom brought him 2 slices of sausage pizza. Your favorite, she said, and Sam smiled because it was. The problem was that his tummy only had so much space, and both meals wouldn't fit. I'll have pizza tomorrow, Sam said. My tummy will love it. But Sam didn't like the sad look that brought to Mom's face. He ate the tobogi, but it would have tasted better if Mom were smiling. On Wednesday, Sam was worried. Auntie made soup with eggplant, which she and Dad were already eating. It is sweet. You will like it, Dad said between bites of rice. But Mom usually made tacos when she got home on Wednesdays. Sam loved Mom's tacos, and he didn't want her to eat them alone. Sam thought about what to do. His stomach said, tell them that you don't feel well. Tell them that you're ill. No dinner, no problem. No food, battle solvent. So Sam and his grumbling stomach went to his room without supper, pretending to be sick. Sam wondered why there was a contest between African and American food every night, and how he might end it, and if his stomach could help him save the day. And I'm actually going to stop there because this is taking a little bit longer than I anticipated, but you get the idea. And for me, it's very exciting as a prose writer to see the story really take on a new angle and new meaning with the pictures. It's super exciting to work with a visual artist in that way. So again, don't be afraid to try something new, because you never know where your writing might lead you. I won a scholarship right out of college that allowed me to travel to Ghana to travel, study, and write for a year. And that work and those experiences became the basis for my second novel, Dream Country. And this is the side of a article, a picture for my first big publication, like in a national publication that trip, I wrote a short piece for it, and then I got it published in this publication. My writing also took me to creating the first ever Writers of Color special edition of the literary magazine I edited in grad school. And it showcased the work of almost 40 Black, Indigenous, people of color writers and artists. So that was, it took like 2 years. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it for sure. Your writing can also make people feel less alone. So this is my first novel, See No Color, which was published in 2015 by Carl Hoda Lab. And I was lucky enough to win a Minnesota Book Award for it in 2016. And it's still the only young adult novel about a Black transracial adoptee, written by a Black transracial adoptee that we know of. And it features themes of race, gender, family, baseball, and belonging. And then this is my second novel, Dream Country, which came out in 2018 from Dutton, and also won a Minnesota Book Award in 2019. So your writing can heal cultural chasms. This novel, Dream Country, is about 5 generations of a Liberian and Liberian American family. It takes place over more than 200 years and on 2 continents. It took me 20 years to write and research, on and off. It looks at wounds and connections between Africans and African Americans. And then one day, strangely enough, you may find yourself doing something as weird as getting strange author photos like this. My final and most important lesson to you all is to have fun with your writing. If you're not having fun writing, then nobody's going to have fun reading it. So yeah, have fun, explore, make new friends with characters in your mind, ask questions, and connect with others. Okay, that's it. Bye.
Hi everyone, my name is Cliff Carmody. I'm the Executive Director at Southwest West Central Service Cooperative. I want to welcome you here to the 2021 Virtual Creative Writing Awards Ceremony. Congratulations to all of you young people who are going to be recognized today. Also, congratulations to your parents and grandparents who may be watching this video. Your work has not gone unnoticed, and we want to congratulate all of you who will be recognized. A special thank you to SMSU for your partnership in this program. SMSU has been a great partner for a number of years in bringing this creative writing competition to our region. SMSU also works with us on a number of other student activities that we do using their facilities over the course of the year. Thank you to the teaching and learning staff, but especially thank you to Andrea Anderson. Andrea coordinates all of our student activities, including the creative writing competition. She does great work, and we appreciate everything that she does. So congratulations, Andrea, and thank you for all your work. A few announcements before we begin. The student certificates will be available on the website at swwc.org. Each student recognized today will receive 1 anthology and a medal. First place winners will also receive a $20 gift card. There are extra anthologies for sale. They're $10 each. If you'd like one, you can contact Andrea. You can reach Andrea at andreaanderson@swwc.org. That's Andrea, ANDREA .Anderson, ANDERSON @swwc.org. Andrea will be sure to help you to make sure that you can get an extra anthology if you would like that. Now let's get started with recognizing our award winners. I'm going to start with 3rd place, then 2nd and 1st. So I'll begin with 3rd place poetry in grades 3 and 4. Congratulations to Tio Winger from Mountain Lake. Grades 5 and 6, Madison Gerke, Marshall. Grades 7 and 8, Madeline Prentice from New London. Grades 9 and 10, Jocelyn Schlenner from Marshall. And grades 11 and 12, Alicia Wong from Farmington. In third place, fiction, grades 3 and 4, Penny Moore from Hills. In grades 5 and 6, Ava Lepp from Butterville. In grades 7 and 8, Claire Safransky from Eden Prairie. In grades 9 and 10, Alyssa Cowan from Stoughton. In grades 11 and 12, third place fiction, Sydney Damoff of Prindsburg. Third place nonfiction, we only have one person to recognize in third place nonfiction. That's in grades 5 and 6, Alexander Betts from Avoca. Second place poetry, grades 3 and 4, Nora Siebert from Mountain Lake. Second place, grades 5 and 6, Andy Dirks from Slayton. In second place, grades 7 and 8 in poetry, Kelsey Hingledye from Wyndham. Second place poetry, grades 9 and 10, Evan Bobby from Wilmer. In second place poetry, grades 11 and 12, Jaden Scholl of Westbrook. In second place fiction, grades 3 and 4, Riker Gerke, Beaver Creek. In grades 5 and 6, Lindsay Seatram of Raymond. Second place fiction in grades 7 and 8, Kira DeBoer of Edgerton. Second place fiction, grades 9 and 10, Elizabeth Lenning of Lamberton. And in second place fiction, grades 11 and 12, Sydney Damoff of Princeburg. Second place nonfiction, we only have 2 entries to recognize. In grades 5 and 6, Bristol Toon of Brandon. In grades 11 and 12, Kate Jansen of Jackson. In first place, these first place winners will also receive a $20 gift certificate from Barnes & Noble. First place poetry, grades 3 and 4, Emma Faso of Raymond. First place poetry in grades 5 and 6, Royal Siedelschlag, Slayton. In first place poetry, grades 7 and 8, from Lynn Brennan Tuft. In first place poetry, grades 9 and 10, from Wilmer Evan Bobby. And in first place poetry, grades 11 and 12, Jaden Scholl of Westbrook. First place fiction, grades 3 and 4, Brecken Clarenbeek, Hills. First place fiction, grades 5 and 6, Lindsay Seatram of Raymond. First place fiction in grades 7 and 8, Evie Simpson of New London. First place fiction, grades 9 and 10, Mercedes Myers of Jeffers. And first place fiction, grades 11 and 12, Elizabeth Wiggins of Walnut Grove. First place nonfiction, we had no one in grades 3 and 4, and grades 5 and 6, Addie Dirks of Slayton. Grades 7 and 8, Matsy Moore of Hills. We did not have an entry in grades 9 and 10. And in 11 and 12, grades 11 and 12, Alicia Wong of Farmington. Our first place 11th and 12th grade winners also receive a $2,000 SMSU scholarship in poetry. Jaden Scholl of Westbrook is the winner of that scholarship. In fiction, it's Elizabeth Wiggins from Walnut Grove. And in nonfiction, Alicia Wong from Farmington. We also recognize the school that has the most place finishers, and this year that award goes to
Mountain Lake Christian.
So congratulations to all of you who are recognized today. Your hard work has paid off. Continue to write, continue to compete, and thank you for participating in the 2021 Creative Writing Awards ceremony.